If you have achieved a level of success, but you still feel like there's something holding you back, this video is for you. I know that entrepreneurs and career professionals who have reached a certain level of success navigate a complex dynamic between career success and personal fulfillment. As we advance in our career and in our business, the demands on our time, our energy, and our mental bandwidth increase significantly. This can create tension between our professional ambitions and our personal needs. Balancing this can not only be a practical and logistical nightmare, but it can be trying on our emotions and our mental health as well. If you've ever experienced burnout, you know what I'm talking about. And I have definitely experienced burnout more than once. Each time I experience this, I get a little bit better at sensing it early, and I get a little bit better at shortening the amount of time it takes away from living my life. And I think most importantly, I get a lot better at forgiving myself. So as we get older and as we get more successful, we find that we have this tension between our career and our personal life. Your high-level responsibilities may include extra travel, higher stakes, longer hours, more decision-making. And this can infringe on our personal relationships with our spouse, our friends, our family, and it can mess up our self-care routines as well. There's also this tension with our health and our well-being. Sometimes when we're pursuing our career or starting our companies, running our companies, we neglect things like our physical and or mental health. Our self-identity is also tied into all of this, and it can be a mess. There's this internal struggle that starts to happen. If you've noticed this internal struggle, write internal struggle in the comments right now. But believe me, you are not alone. There's this question we ask ourselves. It's something like, am I defined by my career? Am I defined by my business? Am I defined by that answer to what do you do for a living? Or is there more to me than that? And of course, there's more to me and more to you than that. Maintaining an identity that is separate and outside of what you do for a living is crucial for maintaining long-term fulfillment. I've been thinking a lot about this lately. I'm turning 44 and I'm right in that place where you really start to question the meaning of life and your place in it. And I definitely, because I have so many different things going on in my life and it's been a whirlwind for the past 10 years, I recently reached that point of burnout and I had to make a decision. Was I going to do what I do every time I reach that point? Take a couple of days off and get right back in the saddle? Or was I going to completely overhaul the way that I treat myself and the way that I process my life, the logistics of my life? And I made the choice to overhaul. And it has been such an amazing decision for me that I had to share it with you. Now, I do not have it all together. I don't have all the answers. I barely have some of the answers, but I have learned a few things. There are a few ways that can help you if you're feeling this way. First, I want to help you identify what it feels like to be burnout. If you're not familiar with the term or if you don't think you have that, let me tell you what it feels like. And this does not replace going to a doctor or a therapist, obviously. So one thing you might feel is chronic fatigue, even after you rest a lot. You may feel detached or numb to your accomplishments. Let me stop here for a second. This was a big one for me. I used to tell people that I could not feel an accomplishment for at least a year after it happened. And I think people didn't really believe me, thought I was being humble or something, but it was true. I couldn't tell mentally, it's hard to describe. I couldn't tell that I had accomplished something in the moment. And it took a long time for it to hit. And a lot of times I would reach an accomplishment that for most people would be huge, but I was so overwhelmed by all of the responsibilities that I have that I wouldn't be able to enjoy it, even if I could recognize it. Does this feel familiar to you? Another sign that you have burnout or that you're experiencing burnout is that you have trouble finding motivation. Even in the best of times, you have a hard time getting yourself motivated. It feels like a chore or it feels like a burden to you. You might even have physical symptoms like headaches, insomnia, body aches. Now, these feelings are common in ambitious people because we are human and we're built as humans, and we're not built to take on the world every single day, 24/7. And so many of us feel like we should and have to. But rest is so important. Now, earlier I said that I had sort of cracked the code a little bit when it comes to myself, but everyone's going to be different. So some of this may work for you, some of it may not. And again, it's really important that you speak to a professional if you're feeling this way. You may talk to a therapist, you may go see your doctor, you may even just get a career coach, but talk to someone who you hire to help you with this. You are an important asset, and we need you here, and we need you strong. And strength is in recognizing when to take a break. Here are a few things that helped me along the way in this journey. One of them was cultivating relationships, like taking a break and stopping to smell the flowers and saying, let me go and talk to a friend I haven't talked to in a while, or let me make a new friend, or let me become part of a group and just be in fellowship. It's not so easy to do this when we have so many responsibilities, but it is necessary, and it is not impossible to do this. The richest people, the most successful people, the busiest people in the world have friends. We can have friends. And the key to it is like nurturing this meaningful relationship, right? Really, really go for the meaningful, deep connections. They're balm for your soul. I hope you're enjoying this video. Please subscribe if you haven't yet. More than 30% of the people who watch my videos do not subscribe. So be the person who subscribes and make sure you don't miss another video. The next thing is creating personal boundaries. Woo! This is one that took me so long to figure out. I know I'm not alone in that. It took me so long to figure out personal boundaries, but it's probably been the most important thing I've been able to do for myself in my life. First of all, you separate your business time and your personal time. You don't have to figure out this whole work-life balance thing overnight, but having a clear line in the sand from what your personal time is and your business time is crucial. You can say no to additional work. You can prioritize certain times of the day or weekends for family, for friends, for you. Again, most importantly, for you. Like, for instance, Saturdays are really important to me. I like to have Saturdays off. And my type of off is I like to work on my memberships. I like to watch a lot of TV. I like to film YouTube videos. And yes, that feels like some of that is work, but to me, that's like hobby. That's like so fun compared to everything else I do during the week. And a lot of times I'll just sleep like half the day. And that's just the best thing ever. We grow up and become adults so that we can sleep whenever we want to. Also, limiting your after hours emails, big, big, big deal. So this is me up until a few months ago, right? I am on email from the time that I wake up to the time I go to sleep. I'm going through thousands of emails and messages, and it's just nuts. And I did something for myself recently that has helped me so much. And in doing so, I'm a better person all around for other people. The thing I did is I created my own office hours. Now, I'm an entrepreneur and I'm an investor. And so I'm able to set my own hours, but I was working 24/7, forget 9 to 5. I made the decision very clearly to have office hours throughout the week. And those office hours are just a few hours each day where I can work on all of my different companies and I can take messages and send emails. And since I started doing that, it has been so, so helpful. Now, if you work at a company where you have certain hours, try having a cutoff from those work emails when you get home. So let's say you work from 9 to 5, you get home around 6. I know you at one point have responded to an email at midnight or 10 p.m. or whenever, or during dinner. Try to maintain certain hours that it's a complete cutoff. Try it for one day a week to start out, and then add days of the week as you get better and better at it. Because I know it's not easy to do overnight. Another super helpful thing I did was engage in a hobby. So I love photography. I love going to concerts. I love really weird, random things. And so I've just been working on those things. I actually truly got a Zen garden, and that was fun for a while. I'm also teaching myself a few skills. And as I learn those skills, I'll spend a few hours on the weekend learning. And it really helps me take myself out of the reality of all of the responsibilities. If you have a passion project, a hobby, a skill that you want to develop, this is the perfect time to start. And things like painting or doing photography, those types of artsy things, they really help you focus on the thing, right? Anything that you can move a little bit really helps too. You also want to make sure that you have time to recharge. So if you have any vacation days that you haven't used, or if you make your own hours, if you can carve out a few days to go somewhere, go on that trip, either solo or with someone that you can stand. Go on that trip, go recharge, do it for yourself. Time is not a given. It is not promised to us. And I'm saying this to you because I had to say it to myself first. I know some people like to meditate too. I think that's been helpful for people. Some people have a hard time meditating though. So it's like, you kind of find your thing, you find your rhythm, the thing that helps you. Help yourself set realistic goals too. Start to reframe what success looks like. I know that for someone who has a lot of success or who is praised for success, it's hard for us to think about letting people down or not being as prolific as we've been in the past. But let me tell you something. You are no good to anyone if you are overwhelmed in a chaotic space, if your energy is just all over the place, and if at some point you have like this crazy crash from burnout, you're no good to anybody. So you're going to let somebody down in that way. Might as well tell people, look, I'm taking care of myself. I'm taking a little break. Put a gone fishing sign up on your emails, put an away message up, and go recharge, rejuvenate, come back to whatever you're working on with a new sense of mission and purpose. Now, again, if you're feeling chronic fatigue or you feel really disengaged from your work, or if you feel emotional exhaustion, these are all signs of burnout. And the sooner you can recognize that, the better for you and everyone involved. It can also help you to build a support network of close friends who you know have your back, who want the best from you, and who you can even help if they have burnout. Also, here's a huge, huge thing I want you to do if you're not already doing this. Hire a personal assistant. Do what Dan Martell talks about all the time and buy back your time. Hire someone, even if it's fractionally, hire them to take things off of your plate that you do not need to be worrying about. Have them handle things like scheduling, going through your inbox, answering questions that get asked all the time, setting up an away message, forwarding your emails to them, having them do research for you. Utilize these apps that help you with grocery shopping and laundry. Just take that off your plate. You don't have to be everyone's hero. And I'm going to tell you something that my wife told me that changed everything for me. I was having a really tough time one day this year, and I just felt like I was getting, everybody was coming at me from all directions, needing things from me, wanting things from me. And I was trying my best to keep head above water, but it was just so much at once. And my wife came into my home office and she said to me, Arlan, you are not a genie. You're not here to grant everyone's wishes. And that hit me. It stopped me in my tracks because she's so right. And I'm going to say it to you now, right now, because I know you need to hear it. You are not a genie. You are not here to grant everyone's wishes. It is okay to step back. Do the thing that's best for you so that you can be great for other people. And please, please, please ask for help. Ask for help if you need it. Again, from an assistant, from a coworker, from a friend, family member, spouse. Even from a stranger, if you need to, hire someone who can be your therapist, who can be your guide, who can be your coach. I know many women that I work with who are highly successful are going to career coaches over therapists lately. It doesn't mean that's right for you. It's just something I have observed recently, and I thought it was quite surprising. Let's let go of that pressure to have it all together, to have it all figured out. Jessie J says it's okay not to be okay. And let's try not to feel guilty for not doing it all. I'll try if you do. Let's make self-care non-negotiable. Say it in the comments if you're still with me. Say self-care is non-negotiable. And let's try to avoid that burnout. Another way you can help yourself feel more fulfilled is by helping someone else by being their first yes. So I talk about this a lot. By being someone's first yes, opening a door for them, making a phone call for them, spending 30 minutes to talk to them about something in their career and their life, that can make the hugest impact and come back to you years later. Oftentimes we feel like if we want to make a big impact, it has to be hundreds or thousands of people impacted, or it has to involve a lot of money or a lot of our time or something that holds us back. So that becomes overwhelming in itself and we don't do it. Instead, what I found is planting a seed with one person at a time is so fulfilling. It's more fulfilling than anything. And if you have the patience, you'll see that come back to you. It also helps you with perspective because the thing that you're worried about right now is somebody else's dream. And the things you used to be worried about are so far gone that hearing about that from someone younger than you or even older than you, but someone other than you is really helpful. I found it to be helpful in my perspective. Remember, you've got this. And if all else fails, just take a breath, take a break, and step back. And remember, you are your greatest asset.